What's up, guys? In today's video I'll be making this beautiful foundation using fast form from fab form, as well as just getting this from grass to what you see here today, dug out and poured. So took a bit of time. Everything worked out pretty well. So I did make some mistakes, so follow along. Try to not make some of the ones I did, and check out my recommendations for the fab form. Good morning. We're about to break ground on our passive house ADU. It's going to be a garage with an in-law unit. What I've done is I staked out the corners of the ADU. This will be the outside wall. So we're going to get rid of the grass right now, both for the ADU here, as well as from here on over to here. We're going to put down some 2.5-inch rock just from here over, which will be the beginning of the driveway. So I figure I'll start with the driveway and getting rid of the grass here, just so that we will have a little bit better luck with having vehicles coming in, dumping rocks without getting stuck. So anyway, that's the plan today. Get rid of the topsoil, and we'll expand out a bit out here on each side so we have enough for the foundation, as well as having enough for the drainage on the side. So I have a mini skid steer and I have a mini excavator. I'm going to try initially to get the soil off with the mini skid steer, see how that works out, because the excavator doesn't have a big bucket to lift the soil somewhere else. So let's see how this goes. We got the 2.5-inch rock spread out pretty evenly. I'm gonna rake it a little bit by hand. I just did this with the excavator. And then I'll compact it with our plate compactor or plate vibrator. Once that's done, I'll remove all the grass here where the house is gonna be, and get all this moved over here so that we'll have a little bit more filling where the pipe for the sewer is gonna go. Also, then we'll be able to order sand and get it dropped in here, and rocks for the subfloor for underneath the slab. If I was to wait and get this or get it all framed up first, then it would be harder to get that delivery put in the middle there, and I don't really want to move it by hand or build a bridge or anything. So I think we're looking good. Here's a quick update. We have located the corners, the front corners right here, then angled it towards east from here over this way. So I got to actually redo this little temporary driveway, because turns out it needed a little bit more rotation. Once I had figured out the front corners, that one over, or pinned the corner there, pinned the corner over here, put rebar in it. Then we used the 3, 4, 5 method, Pythagoras, to find the back corner over there. Then we went to that one and this one and measured out that one. So it was 28 here, and then just figured out the diagonal using Pythagoras, or in this case we used a construction calculator, but same thing. Then I installed these batter boards and strung up the line in between, and then double checked that everything was good. It was not, because this side is so much lower. So when I was following the 3, 4, 5 initially, I was going downhill. So anyway, we had to make some adjustments. Now they are on here. Everything is marked. That is the wall. I can now remove the strings and the corner posts, since we have it all strung up, and we can dig out the foundation. So what I've marked here is the foundation itself. I'm going to also mark my overdig, or maybe just overdig by 1 bucket's worth. so that I can get enough room for a little foundation drainage, especially on this side. Here we need a French drain going from there over here, connect it over here, and then dump it into the creek down there, just so we don't have any pressure up against the foundation. Here we are. When I first got started, I made a mistake. I should have leveled out the pad first, get that nice and level before I started trenching, because now the trenches are just filling back in again, and I had to go so much lower here than what I thought. And look what I found over here. Massive root system. Used to be a tree there. So that's taking forever. Anyway, what I'm doing right now is just bringing this whole area down to 4 inches below the lowest current ground level over there. And that's so that when I fill 4 inches of gravel and then 4 inches of insulation and 4 inches of concrete, you'll be to the top of the stem wall that will stick 8 inches out of the ground. I'll just have to then add more rocks out here to bring the driveway up too close to it, but I would like to have the driveway slightly lower than the entrance to the garage. I switched out the bucket to a much bigger bucket. The trenching bucket that I have, this one sitting over here, was taking forever to get any work done. I know I have to trench later on, so since I don't have a quick change connection, I was being lazy and thinking, oh, I should just keep digging with it. But at 30 minutes worth of work, it's going to save me hours and hours and hours. Check it out, day 2 of digging. Got the pad figured out. It is 12 inches lower than finished grade here, and I don't have the stem walls dug out yet, but that is next. I did start it here, but as you can see, everything just collapses in. This side is going to have one section that will have a retaining wall. That's why I started digging out here. This is going to be pretty much to grade here once we have it finished. So next now is digging this stem wall out all the way around after I restring and make some marks where the wall is going to be. That will be in a few days, as I have to go to work for 3 days straight. We now have leveled off the main surface here, and we have remarked where the foundation footers are going to go. The way I did it was I went over here to my batter board. You can see here, this one is marked for wall. Then I measured off the additional width on each side of the ICF, which is 2 3/8, and ran a string here. Over there, did the same on all of them. So that is what we got here. Happens to be that the bucket over here on my excavator is the exact width that I need for this. So I really just needed to mark the outside one. The inside will just appear on its own. So that's the next. Now we'll do a time lapse of us digging out and checking with the laser that we have the right footers over here. And here we are. I thought I was ready to start forming up the fast forms right now. But as you can see, I was a little bit off here. A few of them I have to just go over and do a little extra. But not only that, I forgot that I should over dig, because I got to be able to fit both plumbing on the outside, but also the sticks in the ground. I'll hold the form work for the fast footer. So I have to dig out another foot. So real bummer to get it all prepped and ready to go, just to realize that I'm an idiot. But I'll go back, get it done. Things rarely work out the first time anyway. This is my first footer in the ground like this. The reason why I did it this way is I saw people who just dug trenches and then filled the trenches with concrete. Obviously that's not what I'm doing, so I should have overdug. I'll remember that for the next time. We're down here in the ditch and things are going pretty well now. So I widened it so I have an extra foot on the outside. And then I went ahead and transferred down the lines from up above down to below. So you can now see where the footer is going to be. Now, footer doesn't have to be super accurate. Not as accurate as the layout for the walls later, as you have a little bit of play. But trying to do it correctly. And then here we got the first spike in the ground that I will be adding this 2x4 to like a screed board on top. So I measured off here, that is 2 or 1.5 inches. Put another one down there. I'll do a string line between, and that's where I'll put the rest of the stakes. I'll do the same down here. I just don't have any stakes here yet, but that's what I'm doing today. Let me show you what we got going on here. You can see the pink line here, that represents the, or actually let's start with orange. The orange represents the outside of the footer. So that's going down there. The footer is going to be 18 inches wide. Then we have 2x4 that sits right in here. That's going to hold that's going to be my screed board essentially. So this is 1.5 inches offset here. So we got that all the way up. Got to put a string line over here. Fed it that way. Then I just put a random spot here. That is 21 inches off of this post right here. So 21 inches from there to here, just measured off. The inside to inside 21 inches, and then drove a stake there. So that is my 18-inch wide footer plus 2 times 1.5 inch screed board. And then I reused that as a string line to set up the outside of the formwork on this side. So that is where all these stakes are, and wood. I found that if I put wood down, then it's easy for me I can put a 2x up, screw it in from this side when you don't have a lot of access from the other side. However, when you do have access like this place, then these bars that have holes in them are real nice. Just in this area here, there's a bad clay area underneath, so I have to hammer drill to get those in. So wood would not work. Anyway, got this side set up. I'm going to remove that orange line here in a second on the left side. And then remove that one, obviously, because that would be in the middle of the footer. I got this side down as well. I just have the other side over there and this side over here left to do. Then we're ready to start putting up the 2x4s. We're now ready to move on to the fast footer. So you can see I have set up one side here, installed the corner over there, then down here, installed another corner, then overlapped by at least 10 inches, maybe it was a foot, ran down here and then stapled. I'm gonna now show you how to do that. Didn't really find any good instructions on the website there. They have some instructions, but they're not super detailed. So I'll show you what I figured out. So once you cut it to length and you have the right amount of overlap, you find the center line, which is this dotted line in the middle here. Put that around the middle. I got some extra staples here. Once you have that, find the number that corresponds with the width of your footer. In this case, I'm going to go 20. And then hold that directly below the screed bar and then staple the top. Woo! So the number on top will change if the elevation or the ground is not perfect, but at least the width will be the same. So here we go. Got 20 on the bottom, straight down. Go up at the top, staple right around here. It's going to be 36 is where I'm stapling it. That number doesn't really mean anything to me right now. All right. Then we go here, find 20. Go up. Try to go straight across. There we go. And staple. That's 36 there too. Oop, I did not think. There we go. I see people do the, hammer stapler. I can do that too. I set this perfectly with a laser now, and I don't want to be hammering on it. But I'm sure you can though. All right. And every now and then, just double check that, you know, holding on your number and up on top to see if it's a straight line or if you should change what you're lining up on top. All right, so that's one side. Move back a little bit. 20 straight down. There we go, and staple there. We're still around the same mark. Then the instructions say also you can nail the center line. So they stay in the center. That way you'll have a nice bulbous form on each side that's similar. I'm going to see if I have to do that or if just the weight of the rebar that I put in here will do it for me. All right, we'll do a little time lapse now. Okay, I'm going to show you my new toys. I got a cutter and a rebar bender from Vivor. And I already made one bend. It's super simple. I just went somewhere around the middle and then put a rebar in. Try to angle it up a bit so that it will bend without getting stuck in the ground too much. But that did not work. So here we go. I don't think we call that good. Then there's a release mechanism here. Just hold that. It opens up. And that's that. All right, then I have some rebar chairs in there. I'll put it down. And then, of course, this time I got to loop it around my cords. But, all right, let's see if we can do this. Put it somewhere around there. Just get my cords out of the way. Oh. All right. All right. And now when I'm putting this in, I'm also maneuvering the bag center line to around the middle so that I'll have the same amount of bulbous shape on both sides. And that is it for there. Now we're gonna go for some straight pieces. And then actually I'll bend the other side as well. All right, I'm gonna show you how to do a T intersection like this. So you run one course all the way across, then you cut it at the marker for your footing width. Cut it there, it's like an upside down T. Then you take this part and fold it around, same elevation as what you had before. So I had the red one. All right, so that part is done. Do the other side, right here as well. All right, that one's done. Then we run this new one inside. Mine is excessively wide, but that's just what I had. Run it across, at least 10 inches of overlap. So let's just go to the end here. All right, once we have that, then we're gonna cut again at the width of my footer, which is the green line here. At least 10 inches. So I'll do from this mark right here and carefully out. This one out. There we go. Now we're done with the cutting. So now this flap is going to lay flat in there, and then the rest is going to be stapled up along the side. So we hold it at the marker and go up. It was red here before, so it should be red again. There we go. And we staple it. All right, we'll do the same across to the other side. So there we go. That flap's gonna go this way. So I'll staple it right around there. Looks good. Red. Place that over it. Make a little fold. I just have a lot of extra fabric, so it makes it slightly more cumbersome, but that's because I have the wrong roll. There we go. All right, that part is done. Now you can tape it if you need to, if you want to. If not, you're done with this thing. And then you just continue back the way you've been doing before. where you hold at the bottom here where your footer is. Check the top. So around here, it's going to be the red one again. If your floor or ground is completely level, then you can just go for the same color the whole way over. Mine is not perfect, so I'm going to keep checking it every few feet. There we go. And then I'm going to just keep walking back until I get to my other side. I've now finished up the foundation footer. So as you can see, we have the bag here stapled up. We also have 2x4s going across to hold it all together, as well as hold up the 2x4 that goes lengthwise, which has these little clips on them that hold the rebar in place. And I'm still waiting for some rebar caps. I don't have all of them yet, but very happy with how everything's come together. It hasn't been all that tricky, but it just takes time when it's just me doing it. So it's leveled. I checked with laser again today. We're supposed to have an inspection here in a couple hours, and hopefully everything has gone well. Everything has been tied together, and yeah, I think it does meet the design requirements. So that's it. And then tomorrow we're going to pour it, and after that, then we're on to these guys. The Element ICF wall. That'll be a stem wall that'll be 1.5 block high. We'll fill that with concrete and rebar, and then we're ready for our SIP walls. Good morning, guys. Today is the day of the pour. We are ready. We passed inspection yesterday. Just one little note they need on this little footer in the middle here, but I am cleared to pour. So we have a pumper coming in an hour and a half. I have a table set up here, split in half with some tools on this side, just in case we need something last minute, as well as the vibrator and the mag floats and that kind of stuff. Then over here we got PPE and some drinks, and also vinegar just in case we need it, and if we get too much of the concrete on us, because it's quite caustic, it'll burn through your skin. So we should have a good pour. I'll set up a recording here. We'll make a time lapse out of it, and yeah, wish us luck. Okay. All right, guys, thanks for watching till the end here. This is now done. Next step is to make the stem walls. I will be using these ICF blocks from Element. So check out that process. Please like and subscribe so you can follow along on this adventure where we build our own passive house ADU. So it's going to be 2-car garage with an apartment above. There'll be a mechanical room over here, and yeah, bathroom up above. So should be pretty cool. A lot of good details. After the stem wall, we'll go over to structurally insulated panels coming from Premier Sips. All right, that's it. Thanks a lot, man. Cheers.